Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 17 of my favorite 30 drummers of all time. We've been counting down each and every day here this month in November 2024. 30 days in the month, our 30 favorite drummers, any genre, any style of music, living, dead, doesn't matter. Our favorite drummers, the ones that thrill us the most. And today, got another American drummer. This is a guy who has played with some pretty significant bands over the years. Hard to believe he's been around now, appearing on albums, God, sounds like the mid 70s, early 70s even. And yeah, the host of people that he's played with is pretty extraordinary. Amazing drummer, powerful drummer, still so youthful at this stage of the game, which I think is awesome. Let me bring to the stage here on the Prezi, again, guy who has just played with everybody and still doing it. Mr. Tommy Aldridge, that's right. Tommy the man, as I used a photograph that's copyrighted to someone else. I didn't realize that. Anyway, yeah, Tommy Aldridge, an amazing, amazing player. And he, like I said, has played with everybody over the years. Got his start in Black Oak, Arkansas, right? Playing Southern rock, hooked up with Pat Travers, played with Ozzy, played with Whitesnake, Project Driver, Gary Moore, you name it. I mean, the list is long, folks. If you go listen to his look at his discography, the amount of amazing albums that he has appeared on over the years would probably surprise many of you. It's like, oh wow, Tommy played on that album? Yes, he absolutely did. Absolutely did. So picking my three favorites was kind of difficult. I had like a pool of at least 10 to choose from, and I was like, all right, well, where do I feel his drumming is the most impactful on some of these? And you know, these may or may not be my absolute favorite albums that he's appeared on. They're pretty close to it. But I just feel his drumming is on fire on these. So it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go with these three. Starting off, I'm gonna go with Heat in the Street by Pat Travers. Pat Travers Band, right? Killer, killer stuff. Blues rock, hard rock, boogie rock, Pat Travers Band did all sorts of cool stuff. This was just an amazing band. Of course, Mars Cowling on bass, Pat Thrall and Pat Travers on guitars, and Tommy on drum. This is one of the great bands of all times, folks. Heat title track, Heat in the Street, Killer's Instinct, Hammerhead, Go All Night is terrific. Evie, One for Me and One for You, Prelude, Tried to Believe, just top-notch stuff, just good, groovy, grinding, hard rock, man, with like a bluesy edge, just terrific. And Tommy's drums all over this one, all over it. All right, next up, I almost forgot that he was on this album, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. How about Gary Moore, Dirty Fingers? Absolutely. There's some blistering stuff on here. I'm surprised that Tommy and Gary didn't play more often together because I think they worked out really well on this album. You got Nuclear Attack on here and Hiroshima. Title track is great. Bad News. Rush to Your Mama. Just good, solid, hard rock on here with amazing acrobatic, meaty guitars from Gary. And of course, Tommy underneath everything is just so good. Absolutely amazing stuff. Again, kind of cool to do this exercise with Tommy and let's see some of those albums that I just kind of like forgot over the years that he was actually on, right? But contributes so mightily to. Oh man, I was torn. Do I pick a Whitesnake album? Do I pick a Black Oak Arkansas album? Because he's so great on those. But you gotta go with Bark at the Moon. First studio album he played on, right? Of course, he played on the tour for Diary and basically, Blizzard as well. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, right? Yeah, you have both of those two albums were recorded so close to each other. But by the time they started going through the touring, you already kind of brought in Tommy and Rudy to play bass and drums. And because I remember seeing this at Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie, New York, and yeah, we had Tommy and Rudy playing there, and yeah, just fantastic stuff. But yeah, but that was the first time I ever experienced Tommy Aldridge live. I've seen him numerous times since then. Caught him quite a bit with Whitesnake as well. But yeah, he's something else on this album. Whether it's the title track, Rock and Roll Rebel, You're no different. So many great songs on here. And here is Tommy playing, pretty much like metal, right? Can do it all: hard rock, blues rock, metal, southern rock, you name it. He's the guy, can kind of slot in anywhere, but just such a commanding presence, and he looks exactly the same as he did back then. I mean, the guy doesn't age at all, and he's still so youthful in the way he plays and doing that whole thing with his hands and everything like that. Just crazy stuff, crazy stuff. So as far as my favorite song performance, I mean, I had to get this one was probably the easiest between picking albums and picking a song. I had the song picked first before I actually picked the album, but I'm going to go with Hammerhead from Heat in the Street, which is an instrumental, and man, it's just absolutely intense. I wish like Pat Travers Band did more stuff like that because it's just absolutely blazing. That's how you take a like hard rock instrumental and you add all the dexterity and drive of like fusion, right? Basically. And between the ripping guitars and Tommy's just going absolutely berserk underneath throughout the whole song. Just so good. So good. One of the great drum performances of all time that never gets talked about. A killer, killer instrumental from Heat in the Street. That is Hammerhead. That is my pick for song. And of course, we got Heat in the Street, Bark at the Moon, and Dirty Fingers, my favorite drum performances. But yeah, you could slot in any of the Whitesnake albums he's appeared on, or there's any number of things. Like I said, there's a few great Black Oak Arkansas albums that he did really, really early on too. And you know what? I really like that Project Driver album. I haven't heard that in a million years, but I always really dug that quite a bit. With Tony McAlpine and company. That's another really good one. So yeah, but lots to choose from. So let us know what you think of Tommy Aldridge down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, pick number 17, and we'll see you tomorrow for number 16. We're almost at halfway through the month. Of course, December 1st, we will be moving on another topic. I was going to do in December either favorite bass players or favorite keyboard players, and we will get back to those. But I'm not going to do it in December. I've decided December, being it's the holiday month, December is going to be kind of storytelling month here on the channel each and every morning. What I've decided to do, we've got 31 days in the month of December. I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out 31 albums that I hold pretty near and dear to me. And I'm going to talk about the first time I ever heard that album and what my initial impression was. So I'm going to talk about where I was, who I was with, or maybe I wasn't with anybody, right? Where I bought it, my initial impressions when I first got home with that. And I think that'll give all of you a chance to kind of do the same thing, because we all love telling stories about how that beloved first album, that first impact, that first listen, what we thought of it the first time we put it on, whether you popped it on CD or whether, back in the old days, many of these are going to be vinyl stories for me. What it was like that very, very first time when I listened to it. And I was kind of like, all right, did I love it right off the bat? Who was I with? Was I with anybody? How did I get the album? Where did I buy it? And what I thought of it that first time I played it, start to finish. And do I still feel the same way about it today, all these years later? So yeah, I'm going to pick out 31 albums. These are not necessarily going to be my 31 favorite albums, right? I'm sure many of them will be favorites, but it's more like I'm going to pick out albums that have a story behind it of when that first time was, right? Because it's something special that I still remember, right? Like clear as day, where I was when I bought it, when I first heard it, right? Not necessarily always when I bought it, but when I first heard it, right? So storytelling, 31 albums that you distinctly remember, where you were, what you were doing, who you're with, that first time you heard it, and then kind of how it ties into all these years later. Is your impression still the same? Has it gotten worse, gotten better? We'll see. So I don't have my full list picked out yet, but I have quite a good chunk of the month already. So you guys have 2 weeks or so, a little over 2 weeks to kind of start doing the same. So storytelling month, the first time I heard these beloved albums, that's what we're going to do. So starting on December 1st. But before that, we got more drummers to talk about. See you tomorrow. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership option page for subscription. So thanks in advance for all your support there. If you want to be a member, that's the way to do it. But we have the other options that also help out the channel. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.